ex hac filia nati sunt duo filii, Romulus et Remus. Okay, I'm feeling exceedingly generous, so I'll chunk out this prepositional phrase. This is the verb of being born. This is who was born. And this is the names of those guys who were born. Pater eorum ut fama est, Mars Deus erat. Genitive, talking about that. Ut fama est. Remember, ut plus an indicative verb means as. And then we're finishing this phrase, Pater erat Deus Mars. It's very fortunate for Rhea Silvia that she could claim that Mars was the father of these boys, because Rhea Silvia was a Vestal Virgin, and Vestal Virgins are not supposed to give birth. That's the whole point of being a Vestal Virgin. But you can talk to your biology teacher about that. Said, nec Dei nec homines, matrem et pueros a crudelitate regia defenderent. What is this crudelitate regia talking about? What cruelty, what royal cruelty could a Vestal Virgin expect? You can Google it, but I think the punishment had to do with being buried alive or something. Anyways, back to the grammar. Said nec Dei, so we have a neither nor. Here's your subject. Neither the gods nor the men. Matrem et pueros, there's a direct object there. And then here's your verb. The subject is the gods and men. Okay. Sacerdos in custodiam data est. Pueros rex in tiberum in ici usit. Sacerdos, of course, is a screwy third declension nominative. The sacerdos is usually means priest, but in this instance we mean priestess, the Vestal Virgin. In custodiam, well, we didn't kill her, but instead they did that. Then here's your verb, data est. So that's what happened to her. Pueros, what about the little boys? Notice they're accusative. What does the king in the nominative do to the accusative? In tiberum, oh, what's the Tiber? Well, if you remember your history at all, that's a river. Pueros rex in tiberum. Okay, the king orders this, and that's a verb that takes an infinitive because you order somebody to do the infinitive. What kind of infinitive is this, active or passive? Forte Tiberis abundaverat, neque ei qui pueros verebant ad ire ad altam aquam poterant. Oh boy, here we are trying to kill babies in rivers, and you always have a little bit of luck. Forte, do not mix this word up with strong or anything like that. It means by chance. Okay, the Tiberis here is a subject, verb. And then we've got neque saying that we have a new clause coming. Ei qui, those guys who. So we have a relative clause here, starting with qui and ending at this verb. Those guys who what? Qui pueros verebant. So nor were those guys, and then here is the rest of their clause. Ad ire is an infinitive, going with poterant. And here's a prepositional phrase. Itaque pueros in alveo posuerent, atque in tenui alta relinquerent. Since they had trouble in the previous sentence, what do they decide to do? And so, pueros, accusative, direct object. In alveo, isn't that like a basket or something? Oh, I think we're doing a Moses. Posuerent pueros in alveo. Atque, and what else did they do? In tenui alta, notice, third declension adjective in the ablative has that I ending, reliquerent. Said, alveus in sicco sedet. Okay, no, the basket does not sit anywhere, but you can come up with a better synonym for sedet. Dienda lupa sitiens, sic enim est traditum, ex montibus, qui cerca sunt ad puerum vagitum cursum flexit. Oh dear, a thirsty wolf appears on the scene. Sitiens modifies the wolf. Sic enim est traditum. Okay, thus, little dependent clause there. Ex montibus, prepositional phrase. Qui introduces a relative clause, modifying the montibus. Let's see where it ends. Qui cerca sunt. right there. Short little thing. Circa here is an adverb, not a preposition, because there's no object after it. Ad puerorum vagitum. Ad, of course, needs an accusative object, and you know puerorum there is genitive. The actual object of that preposition is the word vagitum. Okay, cursum flexit, direct object of the main verb flexit. So we have the thirsty wolf flexit cursum. Faustulus, new character. That's the guy's name. Faustulus, come to dinner. Pastor regius, eam invenit pueros nutrientem. Okay, so we had this guy's name Faustulus. This is his occupation, because every kingdom needs a royal shepherd. Here is direct object. Here is the verb, and then we have pueros nutrientem. And I'm sure, being a diligent Latin student, you immediately recognize that nutrientem is a present active participle in the accusative case, talking about the wolf. What was the wolf doing? The wolf was nutrientem to what? The little boys. Ab eo atque Laurentia uxore pueri educati sunt. Okay, ab, and then we've got this ablative, ab eo. Well, if you've got an ablative plus ab, you're probably expecting a passive verb or participle by that guy and by his wife Laurentia. So that's actually part of the ab thing. Oh, there's your subject, and here is your passive verb, educati sunt. Okay, what's going on next with this cum primum? Well, I know right away that it's not with, because primum is not ablative, so cum has to be when, since, because, or although. We will find out as we turn the page. Cum primum adoleverent, venari coeperent, et in latrones praeta an ustos impetus facere pastoribusque praedam dividere. So I think what we're saying is, oh, look, we saw this word adoleverent before. That was referring to Ascanius. As soon as Ascanius became a teenager, he left town and left the city to his mother. And now we're talking about Romulus and Remus. As soon as they got bigger, what did they do? Well, they did this verb with an infinitive. So here's one thing that they did. So this is one verb that they did. Et, that's a connector, so they probably did something else as well. Let's see. Before we get to the second verb, we have this preposition in latrones praeda onustos. So the prepositional phrase goes all the way over here because latrones is a noun. Onustos, perfect passive participle, the ablative, talking about how they were burdened. And then impetus is also accusative, but notice since it's not connected to the latrones, it's probably a different part of the sentence. So we're still waiting. They began to do this, and impetus facere, because you always make attacks by using that phrase, ambush as it were. So here's the second verb. They began to facere. Oh, and what else did they do? Dividere. So these are actually three infinitives dependent upon coeparent. So they began to do this, and to do this, and to do this. Dum quodam ludicrum celebratur, latrones irati, ab praedam amissam impetum in Romulum et Remum fecerent. Captum Remum regi amulio tradiderent. Well, this is interesting because apparently up here, Romulus and Remus were pulling the Robin Hood, taking the money from the bad guys. So let's see what happens down here. Dum ludicrum celebratur. Oh, that looks like a temporal clause. How do we know that's a temporal clause? Because you've got a while and an indicative verb. So that's our main little clause, but that's a dependent clause. Where's the main sentence? Latrones irati. Oh, you never want to get on the bad side of angry bandits. Why were they angry? Because of this prepositional phrase, on account of or because of this. So what did the angry bandits do? Look, we've got that phrase yet again. Impetum fecerent. And upon whom do they make an impetum? Oh, Romulus and Remus, not looking good for those twins. Captum Remum, another participle with a noun, and that's accusative. And then here's the verb, tradiderent. And then King Aemulius, isn't that the evil baby attempting to kill uncle? I think so. Pueros praedam ex agris numitoris egissa incusabant. Okay, we've got an accusative and another accusative. I wonder what's going on. Not sure yet. We'll hold that thought in our head. Prepositional phrase, from the fields of numitor. And then an infinitive. Wait, accusative, infinitive? Oh, must be an indirect statement. And it goes like this. Here's your subject of the indirect statement, pueros. Here is your infinitive, egisse, and then praedam is the direct object of the indirect statement. Subject, direct object, verb, and then here is your main verb. They were accusing, they were saying that the boys had done this to that from the fields of numitor. Sic, thus, ad supplicium numitori remus deditur. So we have a prepositional phrase here. We have a dative with numitor. Remus is the subject. Okay, so this is a little confusing because previously we saw that Aemulius had kicked numitor out, and that's why Aemulius was ruling and numitor was not. Apparently, when Aemulius kicked his brother out, he gave him some property. So the issue here is that since Remus was accused of having stolen or committed a crime on numitor's property, Remus has been given to numitor for punishment. Ab initio Faustulus crediderat pueros uso regis expositos apud se educari. Oh, Faustulus, remember him? That's the random shepherd who finds babies in creeks. Ab initio, prepositional phrase. Faustulus, subject. Crediderat. I think we might be introducing some sort of indirect statement here because you believe or trust that something happened. Oh, look, we've got our accusative, pueros, ablative by the order of the king, expositos. Okay, is that part of an infinitive or is it just a participle modifying the boys? Not 100% sure. We'll hold that thought. Apud se, in his presence. Oh, and then you have a passive infinitive, educari. So we've got Faustulus thought that the boys, having been, is just a participle. Because of this, he thought that the boys, and then there's a verb, were being educated in his presence. Tum periculo remi motus rem Romulo aperet. So Faustulus is finally motivated by what? By the periculo remi, genitive pointing there. And Faustulus, finally motivated by all these things, he did aperet, revealed the truth, the thing, to Romulus, dative there. Forte numitor quoque audirat fratres geminos esse. Apparently, twins were noticeable enough that if you were a twin, maybe people would figure out that somebody tried to kill you when you were a baby. Okay, forte. Again, do not mix this up with brave. It means by chance. Numitor quoque. Okay, you can do that. Another indirect statement, fratres geminos esse. Tum comparans, that's a participle referring to numitor, then considering what? Comparans, aetatum eorum, et nobilem animum remi, nepotem agnovit. Of course, so he was considering, I'll put that at there. Thinking about one thing here, aetatum, both and another thing here, nobilem animum, because anybody who is born from royal birth somehow looks like it, even if they don't know it. And that's Remus's noble spirit. He recognized, agnovit, nepotum. Okay, continuing on. Romulus cum manu pastorum in regum aemulium impetum facit. Really? Are we going to see that phrase one more time? Remus alia parata manu aduat. Okay, one moment. Do not mix up the word manu with the word manu. Remember, there are two definitions of manus. A band of men or a hand. What do you think this would be? Well, we've got Romulus, our subject, cum manu. I'll let you decide if it is the hands of the shepherds or a band of men of shepherds. There's one prepositional phrase. Here's another one. Against King Aemulius, and there it is. Impetum facit. Facet, my bad. Remus. Oh, ablative absolute over here. You can do that. Remus apparently chipped in too. Ita rex inter factus est. Well, that was kind of sudden. Imperium Albanum numitori avo ab juvenibus restitutum est. So I guess there's a happy ending for one of the royal brothers. Let's see. Imperium Albanum. That is a noun adjective pair that goes together. Numitori, that is dative. And avo goes together. Restitutum is your passive verb. So you've got a subject, a passive verb, and then the ablative showing who does the action in the passive verb. And this shows who benefits from it. Diende, Romulus et Remus, in eis locis ubi expositi ubique educati erant, urbem condere constituerant. Then, see, subject, prepositional phrase, ubi expositi ubique educati erant. This is a dependent clause describing these places. Expositi and educati both refer to Romulus and Remus, where they had been, all those things. And then this is the rest of the main sentence. Romulus and Remus constituerant urbem condere. Okay, lots of building going on.